Okay, hello. I feel I owe you all an explanation as to what happened with yesterday's video. I know I talked about it a little bit in some other videos, and I really don't want to talk about this anymore, but I want to make my feelings clear. If anyone perhaps misunderstood me out there, yesterday I had made a video about what I feel is an overreaction from the governor, and I want to just play his comment. Uh, and he also said for people to stay away from public transportation. I don't have that comment, but just listen to this comment.
We are aggressively testing, following up leads, because we want to find as many people who test positive so we can get them out of circulation.
To me, it just seems like it's an overreaction kind of comment. He said in one breath how he doesn't want people to panic, and yet he says stuff like that. Removing people from circulation is not an appropriate term to use unless you're, somebody who obviously doesn't believe in freedom. And I don't believe the governor does. But he's not the only one to blame. Well, we know that already. Now, before I get started, unfortunately, as you know, the video was removed from YouTube because it was flagged by a certain group of people. I do not feel it violated community guidelines. However, I'm not fighting it. I'm not fighting to bring it back because I feel, whatever reason is, some people that we do have tremendous respect for, said I was a little too rough with with my opinion. So let's do it over again. Let's talk about this coronavirus and its reaction. All right, I feel it's began getting a lot of reaction, especially coverage on News 12 because it's affecting Wall Street.
A brief look at what News 12 was like yesterday. Unfortunately, the stock market went down a lot, and they were all over it. I mean, all over the coronavirus, all over that, because this is what they gear to. They gear to this demographic, and that's why they spoke about it so much. And, it's unfortunate that the other news that's happening on Long Island is being ignored.
We've seen the stock market, drop quite a bit, and it's all about a certain demographic on News 12, as we know. So that's the way I feel, and a certain demographic obviously doesn't like me expressing my opinion. That's just too bad. I don't want to really get involved in this subject anymore, but I feel that there is a tremendous overreaction to this. No, it's not like a cold. Maybe I shouldn't have said it that way. It's closer to the flu. And nobody wants to get sick. All right, nobody wants to get sick. And this is a disease that has very much like the flu. It's a risk to people with compromised immune systems and seniors, and those people must be protected. And that is something that. I definitely, Cuomo's like, we got to test all these people. What we have to do is we have to test everyone who comes into contact with the vulnerable population, whether it be people with compromised immune systems, whether it be seniors. They should be tested for the coronavirus. I do believe that, all right? But just going out willy-nilly, closing down schools. I have a friend of mine who, it was in college, and his college was shut down, and he really enjoyed college. He was involved in several programs, and he's getting very depressed about it because he can't live his life, and we need to just live our life and not panic over this. We've seen what's happened in the stores.
I mean, this is some of what I saw. You can't find alcohol anywhere. You can't find sanitizer anywhere. Even bottled water is now becoming in short supply. This is inciting real problems and panic for no reason.
Shelves wiped bare. You can't find alcohol. You can't find sanitizer. There are people who really need those products. What about diabetics who have to check their blood, or sometimes they have to take insulin. They have to give themselves shots. They can't find alcohol to do that. So all these people that are hoarding, I still feel all these people that are hoarding all these items, y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. The hoarding has to stop, all right? And I think the stores should have implemented, when this started, they should have implemented restrictions. Like, one person, that's it. You can only get one bottle of rubbing alcohol. That's it. You can't get more than one. Toilet paper, you can't get more than one. Masks, you can't get more than one. But they didn't do that, and now we have this huge problem. Look, I'm not saying don't take this seriously, all right? It's like a flu, all right? And, and I'm glad that they're doing more cleanings. I'm glad the governor has gotten MTA and even Nice Bus to do more cleanings. This should be being done all the time because, it's not just coronavirus that is a terrible, it sucks getting sick, all right? And even what I said, and I said in that other video, just a cold for me is bad because I have problems in my ears, all right? So if I get just a cold, I'm in a lot of ear pain for weeks, and it's very uncomfortable. You get pressure in my ears get clogged up because I have very small eustachian tubes, all right? So I don't want to get sick either, and I do think that people who are sick, people who are coughing all over the place, need to stay home. Yes, I do believe they need to stay home, but quarantining other people who just came into contact with somebody who tested positive is an overreaction, and that is happening in New York. People are being put under quarantine for 14 days against their will, because there's one family in particular that they said a family came into contact with somebody who was sick. They're being quarantined in their home, and who knows? They might be police officers stationed outside, and they're not sick. The point is, they're not sick. All right. You don't understand that when you have generally people who are contagious are coughing, so they're coughing and they're expelling all the germs into the air. That's not what's happening here. As far as quarantining those people that aren't sick, people who are sick need to stay home because they're coughing and they're spreading the germs around. All right. But people who are not sick should be able to go out and live their lives. And I do believe that this virus is very prevalent. I think it's going to be a lot more prevalent than people realize. It is a new type of virus. That's what they call it, novel virus. But we are still, I believe, overreacting over it. The wall-to-wall coverage on the media. And we're forgetting about the serious issues that are going on other than coronavirus, such as the climate. Today was another very warm day. I mean, I'm walking around sweating out there, all right? And maybe for those folks on the South Shore during the nice breeze, it's great for them. But for the rest of us that aren't on the South Shore, it was a little hot. And for those people in New Jersey, it was a lot hot. It's still 64 in New York City right now. It is around 8 o'clock at night. Now, the normal high, I believe, is supposed to be 46. That's the high for the day. So we're at 8 o'clock at night. So it tells you just how above normal we are and how warm it's been. We've had record warmth, and the climate is obviously my main concern. But I don't appreciate, when I made that video yesterday, I received one threat from somebody who was blocked that's saying that they were going to flag the video, and they did, and probably a bunch of other people did too. Maybe they're of a certain demographic, I don't know. It is freedom of speech. It is freedom of speech, all right? And I feel that this governor has gone too far. But the blame doesn't just lie with him. Trump has, been a disaster too, right? We know that already. All he cares about, the stock market's gone down. Well, we've got to do whatever we can to get it back up. He thinks the whole economy is the stock market, nothing else. While the middle class and everybody else is suffering, stores are closing, but all he cares about is Wall Street. But we know, that's taboo here. You can't go against Wall Street, and I know I have in the past. I'm making this video just to clear things up. It's not like I'm saying just, take precautions. You go out, I always take these precautions. Coronavirus or not, you got to wash your hands. Don't touch your face when you're on the outside. Before you eat, like let's say you're going out to eat and you handle money, your hands are contaminated even after you wash your hands. So before you eat, you got to make sure you use rubbing alcohol on your hands to make sure that the rubbing alcohol doesn't even kill all the germs, but it kills most of them. And if there is somebody this is a real pet peeve of mine, when I'm on the outside, and this actually happened just a couple of days ago, I was on the outside, I was on the train, and the train wasn't crowded, and some fat guy who's coughing sat right by me. He sat right next to me. I had to get up and move. I mean, why are you doing that? All right, why are you doing that? So yeah, I avoid coughers. I avoid people coughing all over the place, especially people who don't cover their mouth. It's disgusting. All right? Yes, people need to have better hygiene, coronavirus or not. People need to have better hygiene. I mean, there are people who don't even flush the toilet. All right, there are people who we do need to take better care of ourselves. And that's why this is spreading so fast, is because people don't take care of themselves. But however, for most people, it is just a mild illness that recovers on its own. And the people panicking and the wall coverage is completely unnecessary. But for those people who have compromised immune systems, who have pre-existing medical conditions, senior citizens, they have to be careful and they have to avoid people who are sick. And unfortunately, it's going to be rough for that population. But here's the thing: everybody forgets that the flu, every year, the flu is rough for that population. All right, I had a friend who had flu B, couldn't get out of bed for 2 weeks. All right, flu is nasty. When we say it's like the flu is still terrible. And there are other viruses out there, stomach viruses like norovirus. I had that once 10 years ago. I was hospitalized. That's not, people don't take that seriously. They're just focused on this coronavirus when there are other viruses out there that are just as bad or worse. But I feel everybody's focused on it because it's affecting Wall Street. Does norovirus affect Wall Street? No. Does Lyme disease affect Wall Street? No. Does Eastern equine encephalitis affect Wall Street? No. Does Rocky Mountain spotted fever? The last three are tick-borne diseases. But we've had such a warm winter that we are going to see the amount. I've already been reading the amount of ticks that are out there are more than ever, and we're only in March now. So just imagine once we get in the summer, there's going to be just loads of ticks and loads of tick-borne diseases, and these tick-borne diseases are no joke. There's one tick, I think it's called alpha-gal. It's some kind of bacteria or something that actually gives people a meat allergy, and then they can't even eat the protein from meat, which is horrible. So these are long-lasting things. Unlike coronavirus, which it resolves itself 98% of the time, will resolve itself. But for those people, those small group of people with vulnerable immune systems, they often are hospitalized and sometimes, very sadly, unfortunately, can lose their lives, which is why they need to be protected. And but for the rest of us who don't have those issues, we should be able to just live our lives without fear, without worrying about lockdowns. I mean, the governor has now sent the National Guard to New Rochelle. This is another overreaction, in my opinion, by the governor. You don't see the governor of New Jersey did declare a state of emergency, but he's still not having all these ridiculous quarantines and all these actions going on. And the latest thing is now he's making the sanitizer. He wants to make his own sanitizer. New York's making its own sanitizer. If that's not something, it's a word that I'm not going to say, because maybe that was why the video was taken down. But you can think to yourself what that is. I want everybody to be healthy, to be safe out there. Yes, we all deserve to be safe. We all deserve to be healthy. And people who are sick need to stay home. Whether it's coronavirus or just a cold, all right? Because just a cold to some people is very painful. To me, just a cold means I have terrible ear pain for 2 weeks and ear pressure. All right, and for those who don't experience what it's like to have eustachian tube dysfunction, you just don't know how painful it is. You can't hear very well. I totally understand about vulnerable populations. Nobody wants to get sick. All right, nobody wants to get sick, but we have to live our lives. And meetings are being canceled, schools are being closed, and I'm worried this is a step toward a serious curtailment of our freedoms and liberties. And that's why I put that video together yesterday. But I wanted to get this all off my chest in a calmer way. I'm sorry if some people have a problem with that. I respect people with a differing opinion, obviously. But when you threaten to, I've seen plenty of videos I disagree with that are, in favor of the governor. I'm not a huge fan of the governor, all right? I don't have to be a fan of the governor, all right? And just because I'm not a huge fan of the governor doesn't mean I'm a fan of Trump. I don't like both of them. All right, they both have a very, they're actually, to me, they seem a lot alike, even though politically they may seem different. I don't have to like Wall Street either. I feel Wall Street is, has too much power over our lives. I mean, we see The favoritism going on tonight. Again, problems on the main line. Switch trouble Queens Village every week. Again, that doesn't happen on the Babylon branch because the Babylon branch gets the best. But we know why. And like I said, I don't really cover that train problems much anymore. But live your life. We shouldn't change anything. When it comes to what's going on with this virus, the only thing to do is do what you should always do. Hygiene. Wash your hands after using the bathroom. Some people don't wash their hands after using the bathroom. That's disgusting. And if you're sick and you're coughing all over the place, please stay home. Or at the very least, cough in the elbow like that. People don't even do that. They just cough on the outside. And then you have the throat clearers that go on the train like that. That's so inconsiderate. They're clearing the throat, throwing germs into the air for everybody around to breathe. That's really inconsiderate. So I understand why the governor wants to stop the spread of disease. And I support that. All right? And there are certain ways to do it, but people have to live their lives. You can't hold people inside 14 days. If they're not showing symptoms, all right, you just can't do that. It's un-American. I believe it's unconstitutional, and it's a violation of our freedoms and civil liberties. All right, and some people are being held. At least that's what the news has said, and we've read. What can I say? Yes, it's people saying, well, the governor's at least doing something about it. The daily press conferences are a little much, all right? But what he should do is he should look out for the vulnerable population. And he hasn't even brought this up once, that all the places where the seniors are, I mean, this is happening on a voluntary case-by-case basis, but all the, senior centers and stuff, anybody who comes into contact with seniors or anyone who with a compromised immune system needs to be tested for this. Just like they should be tested for the flu. All right, people with compromised, the flu is fatal to a lot of senior citizens out there, and people with compromised immune systems. Even just a cold can be. So that's what makes this disease fatal. Just like the flu. It's more in line with the flu. Some people it might just be like a mild cold. Some people it might be more like the flu, depending on how strong your immune system is. Nobody wants to get sick, and I don't want to catch this either. You think I want to catch this? That's why, I always try to avoid the coughers, wash your hands, and, try to avoid, try to avoid crowded places. It is a good idea to do that, especially with crowded places with no ventilation, like riding on, it was interesting, Nice Bus said they were sanitizing all their buses. That's great, but are you putting the HVAC on? Because if the HVAC isn't on and all the windows are closed and the bus is crowded, you literally have a closed box, a stew of germs. And it's disgusting when you ride that bus and there's no air circulation, no HVAC going. That's a serious health hazard there that Nice Bus needs to crack down on. That HVAC needs to be on. And you tell their drivers, that HVAC needs to be on or you're going to get written up. All right? Period. That's it. I don't care if the bus is too hot. I don't care if the bus is too cold. It's got to be on. All right. And that's the way it is. And usually the train has HVAC, which is usually always have HVAC going. It's but if there's no HVAC, you can do all the cleaning in the world. If it's crowded, you have a bunch of people sitting there, and they're just all breathing in the same air. It's disgusting. All right, and that always happens on Nice Bus. And that's the thing to do, and even they don't even open the windows sometimes. It's going to be hot on the bus. They don't even open the windows. It's disgusting. You can't imagine how bad it smells like. It's horrible, That's all I can say. Which is why sometimes I'll wear a mask on there. But now I can't. Well, luckily I have some masks, but you can't even find masks. So the hysteria is real. I believe it's real. The paranoia is real. The bare shelves. Not being able to, I even tried to get water, and the water's selling like crazy. People are panicking, and there's no need to panic. For most people, it's just going to be like the flu. But for those people with, I'm going from what I've heard from the experts. For most people, even the governor himself said, for most people, it's going to self-resolve. You're not going to have to go to the hospital. But for those, especially with the weakened immune systems, it is serious, like any flu. Just because everybody's wiped up into a frenzy about this coronavirus, but there is any sickness is bad. All right, especially something like the flu, but also norovirus, which can cause people to lose a lot of fluids. I was hospitalized because I was getting so dehydrated when I had. I don't know. It was I don't know if it was. I didn't test positive for norovirus, but it was some other stomach bug. Stomach bugs are really serious. All right. And I was so dehydrated that they had to actually, when they had to rehydrate me to put an IV, my blood vessels were shrunk so much. All right. So yeah, I am one of those people. I don't have the best immune system. All right, which I've always tried to avoid sick people. All right. Like I said, while I'm on the train and there's somebody who coughs, I get up. I move away from them. All right. If I'm sitting somewhere else and somebody with a cough's around, I get the hell away from them. So I've done that my whole life. All right. And for those people who do want to go out there and cough all over the place, you're being really inconsiderate. You're putting other people's health at risk, and you need to stay the hell home. All right. I understand the governor's point. All right. But you can't take people who have no symptoms, who may have been in the same room or in the same place with somebody who tested positive, and just force them to stay in for 14 days. That's where I drew the line. That's what worries me. All right, is that they're going to force. Let's say I was somewhere. We know you were on that train. There was somebody with coronavirus in that car. You're now into quarantine for 14 days. I'm not going to stay home for 14 days. All right. And you can't expect other people to do that too. That's the issue I have. But if you're sick, you need to stay home. All right? So that's the way I feel about it. But whether it's coronavirus, whether it's a cold, whether it's anything, if you're sick and coughing spreads the germs around, then you need to stay home. Bottom line. If there's some good that comes out of this, it's that hopefully people will remember after this is all over that when you are sick, you need to stay home. All right? That is pretty much the way I feel about it. But anyway, thank you for watching. I'm not going to be making another video about this subject, but I felt I had to, because their lives are being disrupted. Colleges are being shut down, schools are being shut down, and we are overreacting to what is, I feel, just a variant of the flu. It is a strong variant of the flu, just like flu B. Flu B is nasty. If you've had flu B, you know. I thank God I never caught it. I don't want to get it, because I've heard it's really bad. All right? For those, nobody wants to get sick. All right? But we have to live our lives. It's the best we can. I hope they do find a vaccine for this, obviously. But we have to live our lives. And as far as Wall Street goes, they are the way they are. That's all I'm going to say. Obviously, this is what News 12 gears to. And, actually, it was scary seeing the stock market drop like it did yesterday. I'd never seen that, ever. It was a little scary, even for me. All right, I don't wish that on anyone. All right, let me make that clear. All right, I would like to see Wall Street's power diminished greatly. I would like to see the overpriced, inflated real estate prices on Long Island crash down so people can afford it here again. But at the same time, you don't want to see a depression, and we don't want to be heading in that direction either, So there has to be some kind of fine balance between it all. So all of you, please stay healthy. Wash your hands. Do what you always do. Just when this blows over, don't forget, you should always wash your hands. Use sanitizer before you eat. Don't touch your face out in public. I see people touch their face and rub their eyes when you're out in public. You touch somebody, a railing where somebody who's sick, put their hand on that railing, you put it on your face, boom, you're going to catch it. It's much harder, the airborne. When somebody coughs and it gets into the air. That's a lot harder, which is why the people who are coughing need to stay home. All right? Or at the very least, cough in your elbows. Coughers, I always avoid coughers, all right? Obviously, some coughers do have a chronic cough where they're not necessarily sick. I understand that. That's different, all right? But if somebody's got a cold or a flu and goes out and coughs all over the place, now you've just infected other people, because you're being inconsiderate, all right? So that's the way I feel. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video. Take care. Please be healthy. And that's going to be it. I'm not going to bring this up again. Hopefully nobody has a problem with this video. Please don't, all right? Because this is my freedom of speech, all right? And I'm very concerned that our freedom of speech it seems like the opposing viewpoints are being suppressed, especially here on YouTube. I don't see a whole lot of videos about calling out what's exactly happening here. When I feel it's taking away attention from the really important things, especially the environment, the climate crisis we are in, which is continuing to spiral out of control. And there are going to be more diseases because of this climate crisis. And not just tick-borne, but, diseases that spread from person to person, too. In a warmer world, we don't have the cold weather that would normally kill off these viruses and bacteria. We also are seeing the permafrost thaw, which could release even more bacteria in the air. So the way people are reacting over this, when there could be a lot worse to come, is really scary. But we got to live our lives. We got to talk about the climate crisis more. We got to talk about I'm not talking about the crime. But we got to talk about the climate crisis more, and we got to talk about protecting our environment more. This coronavirus will pass, but if we screw up this planet, boy, that is not gonna pass. That is gonna be something that could be an end for us. So take care, be healthy, and thank you for watching.